Hello, everybody. Today is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025, and we are back for another episode of Bricks and Beyond, a creator showcase series. For those of you that may be joining for the very first time, Bricks and Beyond is a showcase series that highlights members of the Lego community. Each episode gives you a personalized look into the person behind the account. Tonight's guest is joining me from the future, as he's all the way over in Australia. He is a Lego collector, a business owner, and an amazing part of the Lego community. On Instagram, you'll see him as Kenny Be Like Water, but I'm here to introduce you to him as Kenny. So let's wait, get him in here. Everybody hang tight. Waiting for our guest to join here. There he is. All right, there we go. Hopefully we can connect. There he is. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Go, good. I always get so nervous. I think every episode that people would rewatch, I say the same thing because these connections take forever to connect, and I'm sitting here like, is it going to happen or is it not? So
Well, you're lucky I joined, otherwise you'll be sitting there still wetting.
talking to myself. Well, I did say so. I did a little introduction of you, and I get the biggest kick out of this. I said you are from the future because technically,
Yes, yes,
you are over in Australia, so you're 14 hours ahead of me. So
yes.
you know it's going to happen even before I do. So
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a common thing that I used to always say when I join people that, we are in the future because we're
yes.
ahead
Well,
in time,
yeah.
usually a day earlier sometimes.
If only you could help me out with the lottery numbers.
Yeah,
That would be nice.
yeah, or telling when to buy or sell.
Hey, we can dream, right?
Yeah, that's
So,
it.
well, hey, first of all, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know it's morning for you, night for me, so your day's
It's actually
just started.
perfect time for me because it's during business hours, and it makes it a lot easier when it's like daytime
Yeah,
my time rather than me
yeah.
joining after hours. So
Yep.
I appreciate you staying up and hanging out with
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm honored to have you because I've been following you for a while and see everything that you do, obviously, which we will get into later.
Mm.
But before we get into that, how's your week been so far? So it's Wednesday for you,
It
for those that
is, yeah, it's
missed out on
Wednesday,
that.
and
So.
I don't know why. For some reason, I keep, and we're joking about being in the future, and I just keep thinking I'm a day in front.
Yeah,
So yesterday, I was like thinking it's Thursday tomorrow, but it's actually Wednesday today. So I'm telling everybody, I'll see you tomorrow when it was actually meant to be Thursday. So everyone's replying back to me, going, "Mate, you got the days all wrong."
yeah,
But it's just one of those. It's one of those weeks where it's just in a crazy week for me. Both at work as well as at home.
sure.
It's never shy of you know,
I get
a quiet
it.
one at all.
I get it.
Yeah.
Now, so we had Memorial Day here in the U.S. on
Yeah,
Monday. Did you guys have a
we did.
holiday, or were you
We didn't. No,
okay?
we didn't. I only just saw on people's feeds that they have a Memorial Day. We have something similar called Anzac Day,
Okay,
which was about a month or two ago, where we have a public holiday on a Monday.
gotcha.
I don't know how many days off you guys
Just
have.
one,
Just the
just
one.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
One's better
Yeah,
than
no,
none.
yeah. Well, I was curious because people in the UK actually had some sort of bank holiday on Monday,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I
Oh,
wasn't
generally,
sure.
yeah, they do that. Sometimes they have like it could be Memorial Day over there for you, but it could be a completely different type
Yeah,
of holiday
exactly.
for us. But
Yep.
nah, we didn't have any holiday.
What and you know what also is funny, talking with some people in UK now, you guys call vacations, you call those holiday as well, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. When we go away on a holiday,
Yeah.
we call it. Whereas, yeah, you guys say vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. So
What?
try to get myself oriented. That can be not only the time throws a difference there, but the words, the language of common words is
Yeah,
definitely interesting
yeah,
too.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's right.
um
That's right. I mean, everyone kind of understands what vacation or holiday is. It's just a matter of term that they use or how they use it or whatever.
well, I'm not gonna lie. I learned holiday from Bluey. So that's
Ah,
how I
yes, which is massive everywhere now. It's crazy.
well, you guys can take ownership to that, that's for sure.
Yes, we
So
can. And the Wiggles, if you remember
oh, I
that.
do. Yeah, I do remember them. Oh man, good
Yeah.
for you guys. So any plans this weekend?
This week, I mean, weekends are usually pretty crazy for me. I've got three kids, two in sports, so
Okay.
usually weekends is doing the mad runaround. Sending them to this basketball game or this basketball
Sure.
game, or trying to figure out what needs to happen with swimming lessons or a whole
Okay.
bunch of extra curricular stuff. So I'm very much a family
Yeah.
man on the weekend, so it's
Yeah.
always busy. And it's always like you kind of forget, every time come Monday, everyone's like, how was your weekend? What did you get up to? It's always like, it's all a blur.
Yeah, I
And
know.
you have to really sit there and think, you know what I mean? So it's always a blur. And then plenty happens, but at the time you're just like, oh, no, you didn't get up to much.
I know.
But you did.
Yep. Yeah. Isn't it crazy how the weekends, like you always look forward to the weekends because you're off work. But
No.
then you're not really because you do everything and anything in
Yeah.
between. So
And not just that, when you have your own business as well,
yeah.
there's never anything like a weekend. It's
Sure.
always you're always doing something. You're always
Yeah. Yep.
checking up on what's happening at work, or even if you're not doing that, you could be on social media, and then you're thinking about how you can apply something to
Okay.
your own business, and you start
Yep.
planning. And so yeah, any kind of downtime is not really downtime. It's still very much work time.
Well, hey,
And
that's
yeah.
that's the path you chose. You took a great path. So
Yeah. And I'm not complaining whatsoever. It's one of
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
things.
Yep.
It is a cliche.
Yeah.
Work is not work when it's something that you
Yep.
love. It's just that your brain's just constantly always going,
I get it.
which is not a bad thing. It's just you're always trying to be productive in some
Yep.
way.
No, I get it. I get it completely.
Mm.
So now, because I know we are weather reversed, so you're
Yeah.
going into winter, correct?
We are. Yeah, we pretty much are in winter right now.
Okay.
It's pretty cold. I know I'm wearing a t-shirt, but and when I go outside, because people crank the heating
Yeah,
in here,
yeah.
and I can't stand it when it's too hot. So, but yeah, it is quite cold. It's what is it? It's not snow. I don't know if it snows where
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are. It doesn't snow.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yep.
quite snow here.
Okay.
It gets to about 14, 12 degrees during the
Okay.
day. That's Celsius, so in
I
Fahrenheit.
know. I always
Again,
got to
that's
remember
something that
that
we have
conversion.
to adjust. I think it's like double. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you will see snow down where you are.
Mm.
Okay.
Not where we are. You
Or
have to go
not
to the
where
mountains to
you
see
are.
snow,
Yeah. Okay.
which is like a couple of hours away. But it's cold. Yeah,
I'd rather have snow than the cold. I hate the cold. Like the cold
yeah,
is the worst for
yeah.
me. So
Yeah, that's interesting.
if it's gonna be
Mm.
cold, then I'd rather have snow. But if it's
Yeah. For me, it's
tough
always you're craving
subject.
the opposite all the time. It's cold now, and
True.
like we can't wait for summer again. And I'm going away overseas to Bali in about a
Okay.
month, and I can't wait to get
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
sun. But
Yep.
then we just came out of summer, and I remember thinking, I can't wait to wear a hoodie again. You're always kind of wanting what you don't have.
We are never happy. That's
Yeah,
how life
that's it.
goes.
Yep, that's it.
All right. So obviously, we are both in the Lego world or Lego realm here together. But
Hmm.
before we get into some Lego chat, I want people to get the opportunity to kind of know you a little bit better on a personal level.
Sure.
So we're gonna go through some things on that end, and then we'll
Hmm.
find a path into the Lego world. So, as I mentioned when I was introducing you, so you are in Melbourne, Australia. So,
Hmm.
for those that might not know where that is, can you kind of give a little geography lesson on where you technically are in the world?
If I mean, if the audience are primarily in the US, we are down under.
Yeah,
We are
yeah,
down at the bottom of the world. I mean, if
yep,
you picture the world as a flat image, we're at the
yep,
bottom. So Australia being this interesting shape, um, we're right at the bottom of Australia.
yep.
That's where Melbourne
Okay,
is.
okay,
But home of a lot of really cool things. The Grand Prix, footy, which is massive here, the Australian Open.
yep.
Yeah, lots of good things come out of Melbourne. Good food, good art, good buildings, and we always joke about the weather in Melbourne because you get four seasons in one day. That's
Sure.
the
Yeah.
joke.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
when I say it's cold, like you give it an hour, and it'll be bucket raining. An hour after that, the sun will come out. Then the wind, and it's just a bit crazy. So you never know
I
what to expect.
hear you. I also hear there can be some things down there that might not be so great, like maybe the size of some insects or some things that might be a little abnormal in
Ooh.
size, spiders, stuff like that. Or
In
is that
Melbourne,
not by you?
when it comes to spiders, I know Melbourne doesn't have the biggest spiders. The biggest spiders are usually in the tropical, like
Okay.
Queensland, which is a bit, and they're freaky, large, massive huntsmans, which I have a bit of a spider phobia.
Yeah, I'm
So,
with you on that one.
and insects. So I wouldn't say big. Not that I can think of big insects in Melbourne. What is not good about Melbourne? Ooh,
Oh,
I don't know.
oh, wow. Okay. So, okay. Sounds like a
I'm
destination to
not
come.
sure.
All
I'm not
right.
sure.
All right, fair enough. We'll
Yeah.
keep it at that. Okay. So you're doing it. See, it's funny because so I'm from Pittsburgh up in Pennsylvania. And
Mm.
when I'm talking to people, like I'm just giving them all this negative stuff. And they're like, oh, geez, well, then why would I want to come there? I'm just like, yeah, good point. You just literally sold Melbourne. There's nothing
Well,
wrong with it. So,
Melbourne was rated one of the best livable cities in the world at one point.
okay.
And I have lived not in Melbourne. I haven't lived in another country, but I lived in another state in
Okay.
Sydney for a year, and it was good to visit. Sydney's a great place to visit, but personally, for me, because I grew up in Melbourne, I wouldn't want to live in Sydney.
Okay.
And it's similar to a lot of busy populated areas where traffic is insane, the
Sure.
cost of living is a lot higher. For Melbourne, I don't know. Look, I am probably biased because I grew up here, but I just love living in Melbourne. It's
Yeah.
just nice. The air
Yeah.
is nice and clean. I'm not far from the hills, and it's really
Okay.
nice and green. There's a lot of space.
Oh, well,
It's
that's,
just a nice place to live.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Mm.
That Australia is on the bucket list. So I guess that would be the first stop that I'd have to come visit. So.
Yeah, for
Fair
sure.
enough.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then you said born and raised there, moved to Sydney.
Mm,
Now,
mm.
what was your reason for moving or testing Sydney out?
I was very, when I finished high school, I was very restless. Like,
Okay.
I never wanted to have the corporate life, like the
Sure.
9 to 5.
Yep.
I've always craved, being creative or doing something that was not your standard, computer operator or,
Okay.
you know, whatever it was. I was always craving something different. And so I was doing a lot of music. Like I played in a lot of bands
Okay.
as a teenager and a young adult, and that's all I wanted to do. And I wasn't quite, ready to, I guess, settle down in my mind
Sure.
or have like a steady job. And so I had an opportunity to work for a music channel. The music channel was called Channel V, and it was kind of like an MTV channel.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And that was a lot bigger back in the day before YouTube, took
Sure.
over.
Yep.
And so I had the opportunity to move to Sydney to work for this music channel, music TV channel as a music programmer. So I was like, what the heck, why not try that? I did a bit of TV presenting and interviewing bands. I did a bit of social media for
Oh,
them,
wow.
creating videos. So it was a really fun gig, and I got like access to a lot of like music, a lot of music artists that came down, like free tickets to almost every music
Sure.
festival.
Nice.
So that was interesting. So I did that for a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I moved there. But the novelty wore off
Sure.
pretty quickly. Yeah, I was missing home. I wanted that, I guess, that next chapter of my life, and yeah, that's what it was. Just a brief kind of 1 year stint.
Yeah, I get it. Well, it's funny too because going away always sounds great, but then, like you said, things kind of wear down. Then you always
Yeah,
seems like most people tend to find their way back home.
that's
So
it.
must be
That's
something
it.
about home.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, for sure.
do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have an older sister and a younger
Okay.
sister, so
Okay.
I'm the middle guy.
Okay. So, what's the age gap between younger
Uh,
and?
4 years was my older sister, and my
Okay.
younger sister is two years. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then the dynamic between you guys as kids,
Yeah.
what was that like as kids, and then how has that translated over into the adult years?
I think growing up as kids, I think I tend to be close to my younger sister
Okay.
more because I think that age gap
Yeah.
makes a difference. My older
Yep.
sister, I mean, it was only 4 years, but I always saw her as the older sister.
Sure.
So growing up, there was a bit of like, I naturally bonded with my younger sister more.
Okay.
Um, we probably had a bit more in common. Uh, and besides from when we used to gang up on my younger sister, that's when I did have that kind of bond with my older sister. But then growing up, none of that stuff really matters. You just kind of
Yeah.
just, as adults, you just, you bond over other things, you get closer for other reasons. Um, you could be fighting for more reasons.
Sure.
It's just one of those things where, but growing up, I do remember my older sister, she was serious. I just saw her as the older sister. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
And she did somewhat play that role, more the mature
Sure.
role.
Okay.
Except for like I said, when we were teasing my younger sister.
So buddy buddy with the younger sister, unless you
Yeah,
had the opportunity to
yeah.
hang with your. Yeah, I get
Unless
you.
I was
Okay.
doing, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's
That's.
it.
Now, is there any are there any memories that like that you guys tend to joke about, like if you're at a like a family gathering or anything, like any big memories that really stick out?
Yeah, for sure. I think none of that stuff ever gets old.
Yeah.
Some of the jokes that we used to joke, like say with me and my older sister joke about my younger sister, we still joke about that
Oh,
today.
do you?
And for some reason, we still find it just as funny, if not more funnier. Or me and my older sister used to look for a lot of we used to do like doppelgangers, like guess the
Okay.
doppelganger or guess the lookalikes. And to this day, we are still doing that.
Oh, that's funny.
And so, yeah, we share that same thing with my younger sister. Like we still joke about like um, what we used to do as kids, and
Okay.
how I used to kind of make her do a lot of stuff. You know, she was kind of like my servant in a way, but
Nice.
not like so just like go get me this, go get me that, or I'm trying to play like a war game, and you're the bad guy. So like we still kind of joke about that. So that never gets old at all, and I think that's
Oh, that's good.
what you're always kind of remember as kids,
Sure.
and like I said, because you have that sibling bond, you still remember that when you're
Yeah.
older, and they
Yep.
never get old.
Yep. Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
are your family, so like your parents, siblings, are you guys all still close as far as like where you live, or has anybody moved away?
Yeah. No, I think at one point we all lived separately. Like, like I said, I moved to Sydney. My older sister was based. She's like they've all changed roles, and she worked in the non-for-profit sector, so
Okay.
she's moved to like, you know, different parts of the world, mainly in like Cambodia or like East Timor or wherever her work has required her to go.
Okay.
My younger sister lived in Europe for a lot of
Oh,
her
wow.
time as well. But for some reason, like they've all
Okay.
come home, they've all
Come
settled
back.
down here, they've all had kids here, so it's yeah,
Okay.
it's interesting. But yeah, everyone is in Melbourne now.
Oh, that's nice. So then all the
Mhm.
kids get to see each other and get to hang out and everything. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's
nice.
right.
Good.
Mm.
Good. All right. So for you, just yourself, we're gonna go into a dark world where let's just pretend Lego does not exist. All right.
That's a very
Um,
dark world.
it is a very dark. Well, especially I see that dark world. Well, yeah, yeah.
So many
So
puns.
let's pretend it's not a thing when you were a kid. What would you say your biggest hobbies or interests would have been as a kid?
Um, I just loved I loved Bruce Lee. I loved
Nice.
like
Okay. Yep.
any kind of I wouldn't say violence. I would say I loved like
Sure.
action. I loved being like that kind of martial artist, that kind of kick ass, action man that's like killing all the bad
Yep.
guys. And I
Yep.
was like, I mean, I still love that shit now.
Yeah.
But as a kid, if it wasn't Lego, it was like I don't know, weapons or like building guns or like role playing, the sword guy or whatever it
Yep.
was. That was me as a kid.
Okay. Now,
and,
now,
and basketball. I loved basketball as a kid, playing
okay.
sports and stuff like
So
that. Yeah.
I'm thinking what you're saying about the younger sister. Now, did any of the violence carry over with her, or you were good with her?
No,
So
we
yeah.
were good. We were good. Yeah, don't worry.
And what about basketball?
Yeah,
What would you say? Did you play on any like school teams or anything to that level?
yeah. So I mean, I've always played like in a local basketball club.
Okay.
Heaps into the NBA. Like this was the mid to late '90s where all that stuff was. I mean, it's massive now, but back then it was huge. You know, the
Yep.
Michael Jordan era.
Yep.
So yeah, you know, basketball was a huge. Collecting basketball cards, I loved all that.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Yep. So would you say any of those interests or passions have they? So I know you said you're still interested in them, but have they translated into anything that you do now as far as I don't know, you the way you handle
Yeah.
problems
Well,
or anything?
handling problems, no,
That's
not so much, but more
good.
just like the passion is still there. Like, I mean, I still love basketball now. I still play it. I still like watch it. My kids are into it, so basketball is still a big part of my life.
Okay.
Um, Action movies, like it's so funny because you really see you and your kids as well.
Oh sure.
My oldest son, Tiger, he is 12
Okay.
at the moment, and he's like me. He's like obsessed with like action kind of action like role models and action kind of figures, or even Star Wars.
Okay.
He loves that. He loves like when I say weapons, like Tiger's always building some kind of gun
Nice. Yep.
using bricks
Okay.
or
Yep.
like with rubber bands or Technic or whatever it is. So we share a lot of that. So to this day now, aside from Lego being a big part of my life, it's very much like the same things
Okay.
that I loved when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and I love that, and I'm very passionate about that and not letting that
Sure.
change you no
Yep.
matter what age you're at.
Yep. Good. Good. So then, so three kids you said. Are all three of them Lego fans or only a certain?
Well, my youngest girl, she's 3.
Oh, okay.
She likes Lego, but I mean, she's still 3, so
Yeah.
she's doing a whole bunch of other stuff. I would say my oldest son is he loves it the most in terms of he loves creating stuff. Like
Sure. Yep.
his room is just there's just Lego everywhere, and he never packs it up, and he's just always building something. So he's obsessed with it.
Okay.
My middle son Rocky, he's 11. He loves Lego, but he's the displayer. Like he
Okay.
loves to build something and display
Okay.
it, and he's
Yep.
like he loves to put it
Yep.
on his shelf. He's very neat.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely translated to them. They love it.
Good.
I mean, they're
Good.
surrounded by it, so yeah.
Well, yeah. But that's funny because sometimes when you're surrounded by something, you can either dive in or it can push you away the
Yeah,
exact
I
opposite.
get it.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
now for your daughter, so 3,
yeah.
is she into Bluey at all? Will you be doing the Bluey Lego
Yeah, yeah,
sets?
no, no, no,
Okay.
no. She's into Bluey for sure. She loves Bluey. She loves like lots of different TV
Yep.
shows. She loves Duplo, but she loves just like playing with bricks as well,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
creating stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anybody who could honestly say that using your hands and your imagination is a bad thing for a kid.
yeah.
So,
That's it. That's it.
all
Yeah.
right. So let's get into your Lego journey here.
Hmm.
So when you were a kid, obviously, so you did have Lego as a kid. Now, did you have sets, or did you have more of like a bulk Lego?
Yeah, I remember. I have to find it. It's at my parents' house, but I had this blue briefcase, a Lego
Okay.
briefcase. I don't know if you remember them.
I
It's like a plastic
I remember
tub.
a tub, but not a
It's
briefcase.
shaped in a briefcase, and it has a little lid.
Interesting.
Um, I've got it somewhere. I just can't find it, but I
Okay.
clearly remember that, and it was just like a mixture of bricks. So I had that. I didn't have the privilege of getting too many sets,
Okay.
but I did get them like say once a year for my
Sure.
birthday or whatever. But my clear memories of Lego were certain sets that I did receive. That blue briefcase that I did have. I had a Fabuland
Okay.
set. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
But I always remember we spent a lot of time at family friends' houses, and they had tubs of like pirate Lego,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the space Lego, and I loved it so
Sure.
much. Like they had like
Yep.
I clearly remember like the little the pirate cannons that they
Yep.
have, the gold treasure box with the little coins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I loved all that stuff.
So were were those the friends' houses that you always wanted to go to then? The ones with the big
Yeah,
tubs of Lego? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
Not
for
not that
sure.
you want
Yeah, you
not
never
you
wanted
wanted
to
to see
leave
the
either.
friends.
Nah,
Oh,
fuck the
that's the
friends.
hardest part.
Leave me alone with the tubs. And then mum and dad say, "We gotta go now." I'm like, no, not now. I'm halfway through building this.
So, any chance, do you have anything from when you were younger? Were you able to keep anything?
I do have a few Fabuland figures. I don't have them here, but I
Okay.
do have. I'll show you this actually.
Yeah, yeah.
I do have because I was rummaging through my parents' place the other day, and I
Okay.
found
Oh,
this sheet,
look
this
at
little
this. Yep.
plastic pocket.
Yep.
And while I don't have the bricks, they're scattered around everywhere. But I do have these old, and I don't know why I don't know many kids kept their instruction booklets, but I
Yeah.
did because they were so like
Well, because you knew
sentimental to
one day
me.
you'd be sitting down
Yeah,
talking to me and have to show me something. So
exactly.
that's
But like, have a look at these.
oh, look at that.
These were like, this is the Fabuland set. This is part of the instruction. I've literally taped it all together because it's been ripped
Oh, that's
in half.
crazy.
That's
Look at
like
that.
one section of it. Um, I clearly remember this was probably one of my favorite sets. Um, it was an Mtron set. I don't remember the exact name of it,
Okay.
but
Yep.
this was a spaceship, and I love these like fluoro
Yep.
transparent kind of pieces. That was everything to me. Um, do I have more of the instruction booklet here? They've all kind of fallen apart. I even kept like these, you used to always get like every time you had the instructions, you'd get like a
Oh,
little
the
teaser
best parts. Oh,
of
I love those.
all the best sets,
Yeah. Yep.
and it
Yep.
was just for me. I think I remember putting them up on my wall because
Yeah.
it was just like
Yeah.
it's
They're
like
like
your
mini posters,
dream.
basically. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
go look at all this.
that's
It's
one of my complaints now is the boxes, like obviously yeah, I mean, I think those
oh
would
man,
there people would go crazy to
so
have
cool,
those.
so
Um
cool.
yeah,
Um,
I do have a bunch of those Mtron sets.
look at
But
this.
yeah,
This
I
is my
think
first Technic set.
oh wow, I've never seen that one before.
Um,
A25.
man, look at that
That's
number.
crazy.
You remember
Yeah.
when Lego set numbers had four numbers?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? So, like, not only the boxes have kind of dropped off with like the
Oh,
box art, but so have the instructions and everything. It's just so
yeah.
it's a
And
shame, you
these
know.
are these are so delicate. Like they were literally all falling apart. I'm like showing you.
So, do you know?
Yeah,
Is there a reason why you have those particular ones, or those are just ones you, for some reason,
they were
thought, "Hey,
they were
I'll
just
keep them."
yeah. I mean, like these were probably the only kind of official sets that I
Okay,
actually kept. So,
okay,
and I think that's and I think about this a lot when you don't have the privilege of getting so many sets like today
yeah,
in in modern society, a lot of kids these days they get set after set all the time, right?
yep,
When you don't get that as much, anytime I did get it, I like tried to treasure it as much as
sure,
possible. I would
yeah,
keep the box, I'll keep the instructions as best as
yeah,
I could,
yeah,
and that's why I kept all this. I literally didn't want to,
yeah. No, I
throw
get it.
anything away.
Can, can you imagine
Yeah.
like if we had that mentality like
Oh
fully as a
man,
kid and we kept all the boxes and the set and all that
no,
like
I
poof,
know.
a
Yeah,
gold mine
yeah.
there.
Um,
Yes.
I, and not just Lego. Like I had this like Optimus Prime set from like early '90s, and
Okay.
I used to play with it, then put it back in the box, in the packaging and
Yeah.
everything, and then
Yep.
put it away. And I still have that set.
Okay.
It's not a Lego set.
Yeah.
It's the Optimus Prime
Yeah.
toy, and I still got that at home. And
I
in
did
the
this.
packaging, in the
Yeah.
foam, everything.
Yep.
Because I love this so much.
I did the same with the Power Rangers,
Yep.
like the Zords
Oh
and all
yes,
that. They put them
yeah,
in the
yeah.
foam, put them in the box, hide them away. Yep. And then I sold them at a garage sale.
For like
You know, probably
$5.
$5, $10. Yeah.
And that's why these days a lot of people make a killing going
I
to these yard
know.
sales and picking
Yeah.
these up and flipping them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
I know. I hear you. All right. So, would you say then? Did you have a Dark Ages?
yeah. I think most people, I would say most adults do, but yeah, my dark ages was obviously when I discovered music.
Okay.
Um, back then Lego to me it's like a kid's thing, and then you forget about it
Yep.
when you become a teenager. And well, for me, I discovered music, and that's
Sure.
all I wanted to do. So I was obsessed with playing guitar and music and playing in bands. So my dark ages was from, as a teenager all the way up to after having kids myself.
Okay.
Then, when you have kids, that's how I came out of the dark ages. And when you start buying Lego for them, and it reignites all these memories, and you're like, holy shit, Lego is so cool. And then you go through this period of wanting to buy more Lego for your kids, but then you want to build it yourself. Yeah. And then this was before Lego changed their strategy, and this is before the icons and the black boxes, the 18 plus. It was the modular building.
Oh, yeah.
That just, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the best thing ever. So yeah, that was when I rediscovered it, and I guess became that adult fan of Lego. When I was, and that was probably early 30s, in my early 30s. Yeah.
Now, do you remember what your first, like, not for your kids, but for you, what would have been your first purchase back in?
It was Detective's Office.
Ooh, that's good stuff.
So Detective's Office.
Yep.
And it was funny because it's a big purchase as an adult, buying like a modular building set. It was, $250. And it's like, which one do I get? And at that time, Detective's Office was one of the newest ones. Okay. But, you're looking at like all the ones before that. And Jang Bricks, I don't know if you know Jang Bricks on YouTube. I used to watch Yeah, he's the OG Lego reviewer on YouTube. And I used to watch all of his reviews and go, decide which one to try and convince my wife to let me buy it. And would go through all the details. And, the modular buildings, when they first came out, they were pretty much empty. They didn't have a whole lot of details. And I was really like, value for money. How much? They're all $250, but which one gets more pieces? Yep. And that is the one that's better to convince, the wife to let you buy it. So Detective's Office had, like, it was full of detail. It had a really cool story to it. So that was my first set that I bought as an adult for myself.
Now, since you're talking about modulars, I have to ask, do you have the whole line, or are you missing any?
Yeah. No, I have them all. Yeah. I didn't get them all until I had the privilege of having this business. Yeah. And then when you have a business related to Lego lighting, you have to buy all of them, right?
That makes perfect sense. Set. Yeah, perfect sense.
Have to, yeah.
Okay.
So that was, okay.
Just so you know, I'm just going to toss this out there. You have a friend over here that needs to test out the Cafe Corner and the Market Street. So if you need any product testing for those two, let me know. Okay.
Yeah, and to be honest, the Cafe Corner was probably one of the ones that I bought last.
Yeah.
Only because of the high ticket price, and not many people can justify spending that much money on such an old set. So it was one that I bought later on, when I did have that money and that excuse to buy it as well.
Sure. Yep.
But yeah, if you're lucky enough to have one, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's so those are those are two I'm missing. And when we started the modulars, my son was like, well, I don't want to do the Cafe Corner because like there's no detail inside of it.
There isn't. No.
But see,
I think it's very much an emotional decision to buy.
Yeah.
You want it just to have it.
Yeah. Completionist.
Because it makes sense.
Yeah. No. Well, that's why I tried to spin his wheels though, because that's where and this is where showing, that the kids are lacking the imagination. Because I told them, okay, well, you can buy that set, but you can furnish it. Like if it has 2 empty floors, you can be the one that creates what goes on those floors. So you can create the stuff for it.
Yeah.
So,
But and I think there's a ton of designs on Rebrickable or something like that have the Cafe Corner fully decked out, furnished, so all that kind of thing.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe I'll come across them one day.
Yeah.
But
there is Market Street. That's like a tricky one to get over the line because it's not only high in price. There's nothing much to it. It's like a smaller set. You know.
That's
you
a tough one
just to have it.
I know that's a tough one for me to swallow. So So now, what's behind you? Is this your personal collection?
Yeah, this is my office. So, because it's my office, I want to make it as nice as I can, as me as I can.
Yep.
So we just have a collection of, not all the modulars are there, but most of them.
Okay.
With a handful of like different, other sets, like some Technicars.
Yep.
You know, Ecto One, DeLorean, Batman. I'm a big Batman fan as well. A couple of Star Wars helmets and lightsabers, a little bit in the dark there as
Yep,
well.
that's
But
fantastic.
visually, I just try and, you know, swap it out as well at times. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's me. That's
yeah,
my collection.
yeah. I love it. Well, I mean, looks
Yeah.
great. So,
Thank you.
so then for Lego, for Lego collecting,
Mm.
what would you say, other than the modulars, what would be some of your favorite lines or themes of Lego to collect?
Um, I love collecting Star Wars Lego, but I struggle to display Star Wars Lego just for
Sure.
their odd shapes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
like a really good shelving for that. So I do have Star Wars Lego, but they're scattered around the office.
Okay.
Except for the smaller mid-sized ones, they're
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
good. I love those. Lego Batman. Lego Simpsons. I have. You know, the Quickie. Well, the Quickie Mart was probably the second Lego set that I ever bought.
Okay.
I love that, but they just, from a display point, they're hard to kind of integrate
Mhm.
because they're more cartoony, and it just,
Yep.
I don't know. So I am really looking forward to the Krusty Burger that's coming
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
Love that. What else? I mean, Ecto One. I love Ghostbusters, and that Ecto One is an awesome kind of
Yep.
set. And I don't know if I mentioned Batman.
Yeah.
That's a good one as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
I
1989 Batman.
I see that. I love the skyline back there, or up on the top shelf.
Oh
That
yeah,
looks
yeah,
really good
yeah.
lit up.
I grew up watching the animation as well. I
Uh,
love that.
how I haven't built mine yet, but somebody told me that you can like they sync the builds with some of the actual episodes.
Yeah,
Is that okay? That's pretty neat
that's
that
right.
they did that
Yeah,
because definitely bring back the memories for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Um, all right, so then what would you say? I know you did have some of the Technicars down there, so I'm guessing that's not one of your least favorite.
I honestly, I didn't even build these ones. I hate
Okay.
building Technic. They look good. They look good, and they're so sturdy. You know, you can
Yeah.
like almost throw and catch them, and they all
Yep.
stay in place. But I hate building Technic. Like, I don't know how people do it. I can't. I hate
So would
it.
that be your favorite line to design light kits for? Then I would assume.
um, I wouldn't say it's a favorite. It's definitely an easier one when it comes to
Oh, okay.
routing cables,
Yeah.
because of all the holes and all that kind of thing. Favorite, I wouldn't say a
Yeah.
favorite, but yeah, just easy. I would say easier.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair. Fair.
and probably
Okay.
easier to install as a customer as well
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of
Yeah.
lighting.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, so speaking of lighting, so obviously
Mm.
elephant in the room here. You wouldn't have that many lights if you're not somehow into a lighting company, I would assume. However, I'm gonna do a quick shout out. My buddy Josh is in here. You should see. I should have him send you pictures. He's been a big
Oh, I'd love
supporter
to
of
see
you.
it.
He's got a
Oh, great.
whole room that's just he presses a button and your light kits just light up. It's like a Christmas tree. So
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
but for your purposes, you're actually in a company. So so that's why so the lights are there. So you are founder of actually two companies here. So we have Light My Bricks, which obviously is good representation behind you.
Mm.
And then a newer company, which is called the Coda Collection, which
Yeah,
is
very
a
new.
clothing brand. So I'm
Mm.
going to start with the Coda Collection first because I'm very curious about this since it is
Okay.
newer. So,
Yeah.
as I mentioned, so it is a clothing brand. So,
Yeah.
can you just give me
It's
the
very different to Lego.
backstory? Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm curious. So what's the backstory with this?
I think the mind that I have is once you have started a business and you know have seen some kind of success, you're always thinking about other business ideas, and
Okay.
you know I'm constantly thinking about different ideas, and the ideas are usually they stem from a problem you're trying to solve,
Okay.
and for me and my wife, you know we loved styles of clothes. We love comfort. We love good quality. That's
Mhm.
a huge thing. And when you're buying clothes for your kids, the amount of times where we value it might seem really funny, but I value like seeing a good shirt,
Sure.
like a good collar on a shirt
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's where this
Yeah.
came from.
Yeah. Okay.
And buying clothes for our kids, we're like, that's such an awful collar, little
Yeah.
Rocky. Like poor you. Like man, we got to find and then like the collar's all
Yeah.
stretched down. It's all
Yeah.
just like wrinkly. I'm like, poor you. And I'm like, poor Ty, we just look at our kids and like, oh man, we got to find a good shirt. And so
Yeah.
we've always thought we should just do it ourselves. And I guess that's where
Okay.
the idea came from. And then this stemmed like a long time ago, but we just don't have the time and resources to put into starting something.
Sure.
But it wasn't until last year when I started thinking about it more seriously, when I did have a bit
Okay.
more creative space to think about that. And yeah, that's where the idea came from. So
Okay.
it's really new. We haven't even launched yet. We're just about to. And basically all it is basics, kids basics, really. Like when I say
Okay.
basics, simple, really good quality t-shirts,
Sure.
hoodies, and
Nice.
sweatpants.
Okay.
And we're starting off small, but it's all about good quality, style. That, yeah, like I said, it addresses these problems of poor quality collars,
You're
saggy, and like stuff that goes funny after a few washes. That's what it's all about. So we've created this brand called the Coda Collection, which is named after my daughter Coda. But it's basically for parents who kind of care a little bit more about good quality clothes for their kids. It's not for everybody.
yeah.
Sometimes kids, kids don't really care too much.
Yeah.
They just give me a shirt. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But I think this is a bit more for parents who want their kids to have a bit more of a good quality shirt, a hoodie or pants,
Sure.
comfort, style, that kind of thing. So that's where it's all come from. And so we spent a lot of work just like creating this brand,
Okay.
choosing the right manufacturer, designing these clothes, and now we've got them. We're ready to launch, and that'll be out very
Okay.
soon. We're talking weeks. So yeah,
You
really excited because it's winter here, so it's like a winter range that we're
yeah. Okay.
starting out with, just to see how it goes.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say anything you just said, you're preaching, because
Yeah,
I can just think of how many shirts my son has, and it's like the wrinkled neck, and he's pulling at it.
yeah.
I'm just like, oh, come on, man! Like that looks so awful. It's just
That's
um.
it. That's it.
So
This is for you then.
what's the yeah, it is that, and that's why my mind's thinking. So
Yeah.
what's the age range of kids that this is geared towards?
We're doing sizes 8 to
Oh,
16. So
okay.
anywhere from, I would say, kids that are 6, 7 to 12,
Okay.
13. This is for them. So not
All right.
not like toddlers
Yeah.
or babies. Not teenagers. But it's funny, we've had some jokes come through from like mums saying, like, that are smaller in size, going, "Oh, what's your largest size? Maybe I could fit
Yeah.
into the size 16."
Yeah.
And they
Yep.
probably could.
Yeah. Now, is it worldwide shipping?
We will ship worldwide. Obviously, shipping from Australia is a little bit more expensive because we're
Yeah.
not infrastructurally set up for
Sure.
global. So we're just starting out small.
Okay.
So people in the States can get it, but the shipping might be a little bit
Okay.
more, unfortunately. Yeah,
Gotcha. All
but
right.
like I said,
So
we're starting off small. We're starting off with a small quantity in terms of like range. But we anticipate for it to do well, and if it does well, we can continue to bring out more styles, more
okay.
designs, more quantities, and yeah, that's the aim.
Good. Good. Okay. So for anybody listening now or rewatching, website is www.codacollection.com.au. So that's
Yeah,
KODA
that's it. That's it.
collection.com.au. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm just going to put this out there. Kenny has not asked me to mention any of this. This is all me. I love supporting my friends. So this is all on me. This is not on him. So make sure you guys go check that
Appreciate it.
out. All right. Now, light my bricks.
Mm.
Pretty self-explanatory what you do, but I want to know what was the root here? What caused your brain to be like, I'm gonna light these Lego kits up?
You remember when I said I was trying to convince my wife to let me buy my first Lego set as an adult for
Yes.
$250?
Yes.
That wasn't the first.
Okay.
I continued to push the boundaries and
Okay.
buy, like I said, the Quickie Mart, the Simpsons house,
Yep.
then the Brick Bank, then Town Hall, then all these modules. Before you
All
know
the
it, I'd
expensive
spent
ones.
well over a couple of $1,000, and I could feel it. She's not even saying anything. I could feel the anger, and I had the guilt, and I was like, oh man, how can I get that one more purchase? And then I started thinking about like me being unhappy in my day job, and what other kind of business could I potentially
Sure.
start? And when I was knee deep into this Lego passion, I was like, oh, imagine if I could get these as a tax write-off. You know, imagine if I could start a business and get. And for me back then, I thought tax write-off meant free.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't really educated enough and
yeah,
just assume, oh, it's free Lego.
yep.
And then I knew that there were no lighting kits. There were no
Mhm.
lighting solutions out there. There were a few companies that were doing like individual lights, but
Okay.
no one that actually sold a product that you could buy,
Yep.
follow, and turn and put it into the actual set, like
Sure.
your whole
Yep.
thing, without altering design or anything like that. So that's where it all came from.
Okay.
And then as soon as I kind of started tinkering with it, I got some small LEDs and it fit. And the moment like I put it into my own set. So at first I wasn't that serious about starting a business. I kind of just wanted an excuse to, you know, invest money and light up my own Lego
Sure.
for myself. But
Yep.
as soon as I did it, and as soon as I turned on the detective's office with the lights and everything, I was like, this is it. This is what I was born to do.
Yep.
I found my destiny.
Yep.
It's come, and you know that's when that whole thing started
Yep.
happening.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the humble beginnings of where it started.
Okay. All right.
And
So
that's
now,
yeah.
so then take me through. So that all happened. So then what was the next steps? Like how, like who did you bring on board? Like how did you decide like who was going to be a good fit to work with you?
Oh man, I didn't trust anybody back then.
Yeah.
I was doing
Fair.
everything, you know.
Fair.
Yeah, I let so look, my wife's family. So every Sunday would go to my in-laws' place for lunch, and there are a good 6, 7 adults there, uncles, aunties,
Sure.
parents, that kind of thing, and they were really interested in what I was doing, and I would have so many different lighting components that had to be manually
Oh,
tested because you
okay.
want, you have to go through that quality. And I used to
Yeah.
do it all myself. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea to get them to help. So they would be the ones that were helping me. Excuse me. They were
Okay.
the ones that were helping me every week,
Yeah.
testing and all that kind of thing. And I knew that I had to hire people,
Sure.
but because it's your baby, you don't
I know.
trust anybody. You just have this
Yeah.
thing like everyone's just
I
gonna
know.
steal shit or they're gonna
Yep.
they're
Yeah.
gonna not work and you have to pay them. But can you trust? You can trust family. And so my first employer was actually my wife's auntie,
Okay.
who was the best QCer person. She was the
Okay.
neatest with like curling cables, and she was looking for work because she was made redundant in her role, her job at the time.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I trust you. You're good, you
Sure.
know. So at the beginning was very much just
Okay.
family or really close people that were connected to the family that I brought on and trusted. But there were only so much kind of roles you can fill
Sure.
with that in mind. And so it wasn't until probably like at least 2.5 years into the business where I actually started employing non-family or friends.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
really scary.
Sure.
But once you do it, you have to learn to trust
Yeah.
people. I'm not saying that everyone that you employ is the perfect fit. You go through goods, you go through bads. But very much now, especially in the last 2, 3 years of the business, is when you really start to realize that you need to hire people that are better than you, as in me, at
Yeah.
certain aspects of business.
Okay.
When you let go, and that's always a challenge,
Yeah.
especially when it's your own business.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the journey for me. So not from the start, very much not from the start.
Sure.
It came later on.
So when was that? What was that year then
Yeah.
that you started?
And to answer Turing Bricks question, I started like my bricks in 2016.
Okay. That's what I was
But it
thinking.
probably wasn't until 2018, prior to COVID, when I started hiring a lot of like external
Yeah.
people, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah, around that period.
Now, since you bring that up, you give me a good question. So I don't know how Australia was because I wasn't in the space at that time, so I didn't know anything like
Mm,
worldwide COVID. Did you guys have the same kind of things in place where like you had a shutdown and were you considered
yeah,
like an essential business or did you have
yeah.
to
Well,
stop production?
well, there's always like um, these like gray areas of what is essential and what's not
Yeah, yeah,
essential.
yep.
For Melbourne, if you could pass off as a click and collect service,
Okay.
you could still keep working.
Oh, okay.
And we offered that,
Sure.
you know.
Yep.
But Melbourne was the most locked down city in the world at one
Oh, wow.
point.
Okay.
They had the strictest rules in terms of you couldn't do anything. So far out, that was a huge, huge kind of like headache and hurdle for me at the time,
Yeah.
because it's like I just had quit my full-time
Okay.
job. I had just, I guess, put a lease out on a warehouse. Things were really going really well for me, and all of a sudden, there's COVID news happens, and I was like, oh shit, what are we gonna
Yep.
do? How are we gonna operate if we can't go to work? And we were locked down, so there was a period where we couldn't go to work.
Okay.
And we had to pivot. You
Sure.
know, I was like, how am I going to? And I had like maybe 20 staff at the time, 15 to 20 staff at the time. And I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to pay them because they can't come
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. But how Like My Bricks Combat figured it out was basically we doubled down on content, like
Okay.
creating videos from home, more tutorials, and all that kind of thing. And as we doubled down on that, naturally, people around the world started getting locked down into
Yep.
homes.
Yep.
That's when there was a huge boom of Lego. People
Yep.
discovered Lego. And because we're putting money behind our ads and our content, people then saw that.
Sure.
And that actually ended up being a huge, I guess, triumph, if you will, over COVID for us. And that's what really propelled us, you know, and helped our business grow because of COVID. So fortunately, we're one of those businesses that survived and succeeded
Yeah.
quite well through
Yeah.
COVID.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just a good strategy, good pivot for us at the time, and you know, good timing.
I was gonna say, as much as I never want to say COVID was a good thing for some businesses
Yeah,
like Lego, obviously Lego benefited from that, and then something like what you do obviously would then benefit as well because drastic
yeah,
increases. And plus there's all
yeah.
that extra money going around at the time. So
Yep,
people had some extra money to play with. So
that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
all right. So then as far as the like the kits that you guys come up with, so like what's a typical like a design time, or like how do you and if you can't answer that, that's fine. But like how do you
No,
pick a set, and then like what's the turnaround time from start to finish?
I love this question because I think a lot of people who are new to lighting of Lego assume that when you buy the product, it's like LEDs. You know, how much could that
Yeah,
be?
yeah.
Like it should be
Yep.
cheap as chips, and they don't understand the level of work that goes into what we do in terms of
I bet.
designing the product, because you've got, like My Bricks, the actual lighting, which is the physical product, but a huge part of the product is actually that whole experience. And that
Sure.
experience is the instructions. And so when we first started Like My Bricks, we used to take a lot of photo type of instructions.
Okay.
But obviously it's not as in line with Lego building
Mhm.
instructions. It's not in line with that ultimate building experience that Lego
Sure.
have. So with our new system, we actually designed 3D instructions that are basically, they look exactly like Lego
Yep.
instructions. So that is actually a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time to produce.
Okay.
So how the process works now is, and we don't have the privilege of getting early access to sets.
Okay.
So we get Lego sets at the same time as everyone else does. So
Yep.
day one, let's say, you know, June 1st, the Lego set comes out. We go and get it. We go and buy it and we build it. But we don't just buy one set, we have to buy two, because how we do it is we build it and we light it straight away.
Okay.
We make sure we don't just chuck a bunch of lights in there. We do a lot of research to make sure that the lights actually complement the Lego set
Okay.
rather than take away from it.
Yeah.
Nothing makes me more kind of like angry when I see a lighting company out there light up a Lego set, and it's just like, what the heck is going on? Like, this makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
This R2D2 is not a party disco
Yeah.
droid. It's you know what I mean? It's yeah, it infuriates me. But this is where, you know, we spend a lot of time, and we are true to what that like, say for example, R2D2 really needs. Like,
Yep.
if it needs minimalistic lights, that's what we do.
Okay.
If it needs an effect that is most realistic to that subject, we will go into research and development to make a component that's specific for that. So
Okay.
if it's straightforward, using our main suite of components, we could light it up within a day. But that's
Sure.
just lighting
Yeah.
only,
Yep.
right? Then we have to produce content and capture it. But then the bulk part of the production is actually in the instructions, and that is like digitally building the set, digitally creating our lighting methods into that. So if you've ever looked at our instructions, you'll see like you don't just see Lego building instructions, you see like lighting instructions with our components, neatly where the cables go. There's a lot of work put into that.
Sure.
But on top of that, we actually offer two ways to light up your sets.
Okay.
Most people will have the set already built and then they follow one set of instructions. But there are others who haven't built the set yet and prefer to build and light it at the same time.
Okay.
And so we are creating another set of instructions that actually teach or guide you through how to build and light at the same time. Okay. And that's actually not just copying Lego instructions. We've actually created a new method almost that you don't need the instructions that Lego have.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
To build the set. So the order's all different.
Okay.
You know, Lego will be like follow bags 1 to 10. This could be like open bag 3 first.
Oh, interesting.
Then 2, depending on what it needs. So that can take up to 6 weeks potentially for a large set just to create. So there's a lot of work put into that. And then there's like a ton of like checks. There's like, then you've got the actual production of the components, the packing, the QC, all that. So look, a small light kit can take a couple of weeks to produce. A big one can take up to 6 weeks, sometimes even 8, depending on how big it is and how much lighting detail it is. So, like I said, it's not just a bunch of LEDs. You can't just chuck it in there and release the product. You can, but then the experience will be shit, and that's not what we want. So there's a ton of work that gets that's involved with creating just one lighting kit.
That's always a problem with end products. People look at an end product and they're like, "Oh man, I could have done that," but they don't realize what goes into things. So, so really, this is one of my big curious questions. So I'm going to give 2 sets as examples here, and I'm just curious on your approach to each. So similar types of builds here. So let's just take Town Hall for example. So that's a Lego original building, and then let's take the Home Alone house. So you have the Home Alone house, which is based off of a movie. So I'm assuming, does more research go into that because you actually have to watch the scenes to see? Like, do you guys go into that type of detail for planning the lights?
Yeah. Okay. We don't just want to watch Home Alone because it's an awesome movie. We are doing it for research purposes. So every scene we research, you know, and just like the way the Lego set is designed, they would have done a whole lot of research to recreate certain scenes. For example, for us, I mean, we all love Home Alone, but like an example is the doorknob. It's actually a red translucent diamond piece that they use there. And we know in the movie that thing is hot and lights up. So we obviously know we're going to like that part. Whereas if you don't really know the movie at all, you would just, you wouldn't even look to light that part up. You just assume that's just an ordinary part. So we do a ton of research, especially for iconic sets that are after movies or based off movies or characters or whatever. There's always a lot of research done. Not research because we don't know, just like we just want to make sure we light things the right way, with the right effect, with the right kind of look or feel. Whereas a town hall, because it's not based off a movie, we just treat it like, what would it look like if it was a town hall?
Exactly.
You know, we wouldn't be putting massive, flashing lights in the lamppost, or I'm just going through extremes, or certain light bars that they wouldn't even have on a town hall. It's just not realistic. So we try and balance that realism to style and lighting and what accents certain features in a nice way.
See, and like that's something that I had even thought about, like when looking at, and I don't know if you guys like, and obviously I don't ever want you to answer anything you're not comfortable with, but to me, like that's a value added that, like, for a set like that you could be like, well, we're going to charge an extra $5 because we did that research to make sure you're happy with that product as it should be, as it is in the movie.
And I think part of my goal and a challenge for us is educating and just making people more aware of what goes on into what we do. because a common hurdle for people who have not tried our product before is the price. They just look at it and go,
Sure.
"Wow, that's so much," and that's totally a total fair judgment, or interpretation or whatever it is. But for us, it's like, yeah, we need to explain that it's not just, the lights. It's not
Yep.
just the physical part. There's a lot more that's put into the design, the experience, that whole thing.
Sure.
So yeah, it's more about, I guess making people more aware of what goes on into it. And a lot of our customers that have been with us for a long time understand that already.
Sure.
And it's one of those things of just like, once you try it, you can understand it a bit more.
Yeah. Well, I always say
Yeah.
it's a hobby within a hobby. So when you have the prices, I mean, it's just like Lego sets. Like you have to pick which Lego sets you want depending on the prices. And then like
Yeah.
with lighting, it's like, okay, well, I value lighting up my set more than getting a set that just came out that'll be out for another 2 years. So you
Yeah.
really, in any
Yeah.
hobby, you have big decisions that you make. But when you see what's
Yeah.
behind you, that
Yes.
sells it in itself. So
That's it. And it's one of those things where you just need to light one. If you've got a big
yeah,
collection, you light one, you'll know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
You won't be
Well,
able to leave the rest in the dark, that's for sure.
I have some influence on my side, so I'm getting there. I gotta decide which one I want to do first. That's probably
Yeah.
the Home Alone, because Home Alone was my first. That was my first set I ever got.
Yeah.
And it's just so iconic that I think it's a good way to
So
start.
yeah.
So yep.
Yeah. Get with
Um,
you.
now have you taken Light My Bricks to any of the big Lego conventions?
No, unfortunately, just in Australia, we just done
Okay.
like the ones because just logistically, we want to show off the product as much as possible, and
Yep.
logistically, it's a bit more difficult when you're, let's say if we have to travel over there,
Sure.
but something like Brick World Chicago is something that we thought about going last year. We just couldn't make it happen. We wanted to do it this year, couldn't quite make it, but like we definitely want to get over there.
Okay.
And what we have done is I don't know if you know Harry Harrison, Brickmaster
Yeah.
Harry.
Yeah. Harry. Yeah. Yep.
We've worked with him, so he's actually going to be there and representing us, and
Oh,
he's going to
nice.
do a whole bunch of content. He's going to shoot a whole bunch of stuff for us. So while we can't be there, we're having people there to represent
Sure.
us over there.
Yep.
But that's the plan. Like hopefully next year, we're going to get over there,
Okay. All right.
and attend these kind of bigger shows.
Sure. Just another good question here. Do any light kits retire?
When I say no, well, not in our new system, no. So
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware, but we've kind of like evolved with our
Yeah.
product. We
Yep.
started off with, what we call the 1.0 system, and
Yep.
we've moved towards the 2.0 system. The 1.0 system is retired. So
Okay.
we may have had a kit that we don't have in 2.0 that we did have in 1.0 that's retired, but we're actually doing a big ramp up of going through the backlog and looking at doing those sets in the 2.0 version.
Sure.
So anything 2.0 is not going to retire.
Okay. All right. So then they'll just be available. God forbid something
So
happen, but that plan is to keep them all as
yes,
is. Okay.
yes,
Awesome.
that's it.
All right. Now I know you and I chatted the other day, real quick, and you mentioned now you are at work right now, correct?
Yeah.
Are you in a place where you're able to give like a quick like lookout of what everything looks like where you are by any chance?
Sure, yeah,
I'm
for
just
sure. I
curious.
can.
I'm interested.
No, definitely. This is my office, so
Yep.
there's nothing really behind me but my desk. But I am more than happy to give you a bit of a tour
If you don't
of
mind, yeah,
headquarters.
I don't want to keep you longer because I think you said you had a call coming up too. But yeah, if you have some time, love to see it.
So I walk out, and there's immediately a display behind me
Yep. Okay.
of all sets. Here's
Oh,
another.
nice.
So it's just obviously we have a lot of Lego sets here. So
Yeah.
this is just kind of a tour. This is just like a meeting space out here.
Okay.
There's Mel. I don't know if anyone's ever spoken to our customer service, but that's actually Mel.
Oh, nice.
Who's
Face to
there
the name.
answering lots of tickets. Yeah. And I'm actually upstairs, so I'll bring you downstairs. But I think
Okay.
what a lot of people might be interested in seeing is perhaps our design space.
Yeah. Sure.
I'll see if anyone's actually there at the moment because we're knee deep into designing a lot of sets for the hobby market, actually.
Okay.
This is actually Will. He's our design manager.
Well,
He's sorting through some components. I'm going to flip the screen and I might be able to make this
yep.
a bit more easier to see. This is actually the design space.
Nice.
So everyone here, there's some guys working remotely, but they're all actually product designers who are actually creating. And I was talking about instructions.
Oh yeah, look at
This is what is actually involved. So Jack here, the man, he designed the latest Ninjago light kit.
Oh nice. Yep.
And he's actually putting together the instructions right here, like what you're seeing.
Okay, look at that. Oh, that's awesome.
So we're creating digital instructions, but a big part of it is actually the lighting integration.
Yep.
So you can see like our wires that are going up, and he's literally doing like step by step.
That's amazing.
Anton here is doing the color end shuttle that just came out recently. So it's very much a building the instructional process, which is the bulk of the work.
Sure.
Well, this is like a 1.0 set that we've retired, but we're actually going back and doing a 2.0 version for, which is why we've got it out here.
Nice.
Brett's working on, what's this? Oh, the Django Fett.
Oh,
Slave
okay.
1.
Yep. Okay.
You got to call it Slave 1.
Yep. Yeah.
So he's doing that. Michael's doing some instructions as well on, he's actually helping the customer.
Oh, okay.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yep.
the customer's needing some help, so he's helping there. Eiffel Tower is half in half, and that's something that we're bringing out very shortly too.
Yep.
Okay. Michael wants to show a demo.
Oh yeah, please.
There you go. He's just lit up all the nice little lamps underneath.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So yeah, there's a lot of testing, a lot of building, and just like a whole bunch of Lego around.
Ooh,
this is one that's we're lighting up too.
Yep.
This is the one that just came out.
Nice.
You want it on? Yeah, he can give you a preview.
Yeah.
I mean, I can
please.
chuck it on.
Oh, look at that. That's really cool.
So, yeah, he's gone to town with it. So
nice.
This is one
that's nice.
We haven't even put out yet, but I think we're doing like a video tutorial on it as well.
Okay. Fantastic.
And he filmed it this morning, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So
okay.
This is a
little
sneaky peek. And I've just broken that nameplate. 3D printer. So this is the design space. There's a little packing area here. I don't know if you want to see more for those who are into, I guess, Gundams and other model kind of
look at that. Okay.
stuff. We're doing a lot of lighting for these, which is a totally different market. But yeah. That's the design space. I don't know if do you want to. I don't know if there's more that you want to see, or
I'm just
that's enough.
Whatever you want to show. I mean, yeah, whatever you want to share. Yeah.
I mean, this is like a little packing station. We've got a whole bunch of all our products behind me. Look at all those lighting kits.
All those. Holy cow.
There is I think a lot of customers will remember, or people who follow our page will see, like we do a lot of showcases or roundups on our products. That's all shot in this space here. So this is actually a studio. Okay. It doesn't look flash shot there at the moment because there's no lights or anything like that. Megan is, I think a lot of people might recognize Megan. He's on a lot of our content. So she is, I don't know, she's setting up maybe for a shoot here. So all of our latest products around here. So this is where we do like the roundup where they say, here's the latest Daily Bugle light kit. It has this. We do it all in this space.
Oh, this is awesome.
With a green screen.
Where the magic,
so
where the magic happens.
There's a lot of the magic does happen here. This is like the area where we edit a lot of our videos. Let me flip this around. People are probably sick of seeing my face. This is the man behind a lot of our videos, Imran. He does all the video production. He cuts up all the videos that you see, a lot of the photos that we produce content for. He does it all.
Man,
Harry
I wish I had a payroll for editing department.
Yeah, so Harry's like working on a lot of video content as well. He's doing a lot of post-production there. That's his beautiful dog. Pat is one of our creative designers here. He's He's Keith, my mate from Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Oh,
the other side of the globe. How are you? How are you? Nice
Pat's
to meet you.
town. Where are you from? Pat's originally from Chicago.
Oh, okay, yeah. So not too far. Yeah.
Yeah, not too
Okay.
far, not too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he's I actually he used to be the drummer of my band.
Oh,
When I
really?
told you about my band days,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
that was him. And now he's an artist. He's doing some content here. I don't know. These guys were having a build day, and he's captured all that on the 360
Oh, that's
camera. So
awesome. Oh, that's really cool.
yeah.
Man,
So this is
you guys you have all the toys, don't you?
we have a lot of good
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Then these guys are, the lights are actually on at the moment. So
Ah, there we go. Oh, nice.
there we go.
Oh, there
There you
it
go.
is. Oh, that's awesome.
There you go.
That's
So,
amazing.
constantly playing with lights and yeah. If you want to be a part of it, move down to Melbourne and you can make it happen.
You know what?
Um,
You're really selling me here.
this is what we call our graveyard of Lego.
Okay.
There's just Lego sets everywhere. That's why
That's
we have a
fantastic.
warehouse so we can store all this stuff. We shoot stuff. We play with it. We put lights in it,
Yeah.
and then it comes over here.
Did
We
I
gotta
just
find a
see
better
your
way
first
to make
set
it
over
look
there,
cool.
detective's office?
That was in my office. Unless there's a second one here.
I wasn't.
Wait a
Isn't
second.
that a blue? Didn't I see it over there
No
on the
detectives
on the
office
T
in
Rex
this
shelf?
section.
Was down the other way. I could have sworn I saw a blue modular. No, go the. Yep.
Oh, that was the
Oh no,
tutor
that's a
corner. That's the tutor corner.
tutor. Okay, I saw the
Yeah,
blue.
it looks. I see what you. I see what you mean. Yeah. Good eye. Good
Yeah.
eye. And yeah, so just a whole bunch of other stuff here. That's pretty much the office. I mean, we have a kitchen, we have meeting rooms, we have a
Yeah.
basketball
No,
court,
that's awesome,
we've got a gym. But yeah,
man.
definitely a great place to work. That's pretty much HQ in Melbourne.
Man, I
Um,
feel like I need to submit an application or something here. Like,
yeah,
well,
you definitely got the inside scoop.
yeah.
The
Well,
VIP.
geez, yeah.
Welcome to the keys to the VIP.
Check check your email later. I'll send the cover letter and the application over. So,
No, that's right. But yeah,
uh,
that's pretty much it. What else can I
yeah,
show
no,
you?
that's
Yeah,
that's awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time to show us that because
no,
it's
that's right.
nice. Like I said, it's nice to see an end product, but you don't really truly appreciate something until you know the
Yeah,
people and you know like what goes on behind it. So awesome stuff. I really appreciate you you giving us that tour there. So.
no, not a
Um,
problem. Happy to do
But
so.
I know you are a busy man, so I'm not going to keep you any longer today. I want to do a couple quick shout outs again for you here. Again, you have not, I'm just making sure people know you have not asked me to do any of this. I'm just doing it because I want to. Um, Make sure you check out the Coda collection, which is the new clothing brand by Kenny and his wife here. That'll be launching here, and you said in the next few weeks.
Yeah, yep.
Okay,
Hopefully,
so again,
we'll make
mainly
it happen.
okay, fair enough. So again, mainly aimed for those in Australia, but just check it out anyways, because you never know. They can ship worldwide, depending on if you're paying for the shipping. Which shipping in the U.S. is just awful. So I know what you mean. But still, check it out because the clothes I'm looking at them right now, and they're exactly how you describe them. They look like quality products. Also, obviously, light my bricks. Light your Lego kits up. It looks incredible. You saw the behind the scenes tours. You see what's behind Kenny there. Looks amazing. I can speak from firsthand experience from a friend of mine, Josh, who, like I said, he's got his whole living room lit up. What you have, what you provide is amazing product, amazing quality. I will be getting, like I said, probably the Home Alone house. So I will share that experience as well. Any shout outs? Anything you want to shout out? Anything, anybody? Anything else, or you are covered?
No, just no, yeah. No, look, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. So,
Yeah.
and I appreciate anyone else who's tuned in and popped a little comment in there.
Yep.
I know it might seem small, but when I see people join and I see little comments being like, I really value that, and I appreciate anyone who does that and watches along and engages. So that's always a worth shouting out. So
Yeah, well,
there you go.
I would say I seriously I appreciate you taking the time out of your day because I know this is in the middle of your work day, so I appreciate you spending the time giving us the tour. And also thank you for responding to me because I know like the bigger an account it gets harder to like keep track and
Yeah,
reach out to people. But you are a genuine person. Who you
yeah.
present is what you are, and I appreciate that. So.
Thank you. I appreciate
Um,
it too.
I would love to check in with you later this
Yep,
year, kind of
for
see where
sure.
things have gone, what's
Anytime.
going on. So perfect. All
Yeah,
right,
I'd love that.
you have a good rest of the week, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Keith.
All right,
I'll
Kenny,
see you
have a
later.
good one. Thanks, everybody.
All
All
right.
right, bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.